What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the BallGame podcast. I'm the innocent bystander, Matt Sullivan.
I'm Chris.
I'm Tom.
As you can see, we have a replacement today for the BallGame podcast. We do appreciate you coming on, Tom. Potentially a future permanent member. Not throwing anything out there, but just throwing something out there.
We're in talks right now. We're in talks.
We're currently in contract negotiations with Tom at the current moment. So, but yeah, a whole lot of football this past weekend. It was week 5 of the NFL, and things are starting to pick up. We're starting to get a clear vision on who are the best teams in the NFL, who are the worst teams in the NFL, who's going to be rebuilding, who's going for that first overall pick, and who's going for that Super Bowl. So it's starting to become a clearer picture. I think we're all getting some ideas about where these teams are ranked at and where their standing is in the NFL. Very excited for the future, for the remainder of the NFL season. This is going to be incredibly exciting, the race for the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, Sunday Night Football gave us a pretty clear view on who the best team in the NFL is. I feel like that's how we'll start this thing off, as the 49ers beat the absolute brakes off of the Dallas Cowboys. It wasn't even a close game, and I think it was close for maybe a quarter. If that. So the final score, what did we have here? It was bad. Let's double check this. The final score of this 49ers game. But anyways, it was not even close.
42-10.
Yeah, it was 42-10, right? Yeah.
Jesus. 42-10 the final. It was a rough one for the Dallas Cowboys. I think they went out there and proved once again that they're kind of fluky. And it feels like it's a cycle every year. It's the same cycle. We start to think, wow, these Cowboys are different. And I said it on the podcast a few weeks ago. I said, these Cowboys feel different. They feel like this is just a totally different team. And they're about to announce themselves to the world. And they did. They announced themselves to the world as the same old goddamn Cowboys. So what are our thoughts? What's some quick analysis on the Cowboys side of things in this 42-10 blowout?
Man, where do we even begin? I mean, they looked completely outmatched. It's that simple, and it's crazy to say, but in every facet of the football game, they were outmatched. Quarterback play, running the ball, throwing the ball, defensively, they were completely outmatched. They stood no chance in this game. They definitely played terrible. They played like dog shit, but I don't even know if they stood a chance if they played any better. The 49ers are just different. Dak Prescott, man, he was doing so good. He was doing so good before this game. And then I don't know what happened. He started seeing ghosts. It's been a rough go for Tony Pollard so far this season. Yep. It's been a rough go for Tony Pollard. They're missing Zeke. And they're missing Dalton Schultz on offense. They're missing both of those guys. I mean, I don't even know. It's rough.
There's not much good to take away from this.
No, not for the Cowboys. I literally wrote in my notes last night that the 49ers are just a better team, always have been, always will be. That's just what it is. The Cowboys just can't escape the 49ers. The thing about the Cowboys that's like surprising to me is their offense is either completely shut out or it's just they don't need it because their defense has just smoked the team. So they can't establish a rhythm on offense. They can't get their guys involved. They're definitely missing Dalton Schultz. But yeah, it just comes down to the 49ers are just they might not lose. Like that's how it's looking. Like if they end the season with like 1 or 2 losses, wouldn't be shocked, you know?
Yeah. I just watching the Cowboys on offense, and like there was one pick later. It was later in the game. So it didn't. Oh, Sleazy, I love you. It didn't matter that much, but it was so bad that I have to bring it up. Where like I wouldn't even make that throw in flag football to where he literally threw it directly at the 49ers.
Yeah.
I think I forgot who it was that even got the pick. It doesn't even matter. But he threw it straight at him. And I was like, all right, Dak, that's how we're going to play today. That's what this is going to be. And I had him starting in my Dynasty League in fantasy, but thank God I had 182 points, so it didn't matter. But that man, and it sucks because I said it with the whole Kellen Moore sitch, and I know a lot of people are going to say it's not Kellen Moore. It wouldn't be any different, but the passing game was at least working with Kellen Moore. Like that much I could have said. The passing game at least worked with Kellen Moore. Yes, Dak had a bunch of interceptions, but as we said multiple times, a lot of those weren't on him. I think 7 of them went off of receivers' hands last season. So I'm not going to pin all those picks on Dak, but this passing game can't get going. It can't establish a rhythm. You brought up a great point, Tom. They don't have to pass the ball much. They haven't, at least. And they haven't been able to establish an offensive rhythm. And I think another thing that goes under the radar, we don't mention that Zeke's not on this team anymore. So Tony Pollard is getting 25 carries a game. And me and Jason had a conversation earlier, and I said, some guys just ain't built for that workload. And it doesn't seem like Tony Pollard is. So when you have Zeke taking 20 of those carries away and Tony Pollard gets to sit in that 12 to 15 range, then we see the explosive version of Tony Pollard. So I don't know. Something needs to be figured out. You can't have a power run game with a 209-pound running back and nobody else behind him. You need to get CeeDee Lamb the ball more. You need to. He's your best player on offense. He is, bar none. It's not even remotely close. You need to look to get him the ball more. I think he complained after the game, like he brought it to the coaching staff, and he was like, yo, I need the fucking ball. From all reports, like he wasn't happy with the way the offense is being ran right now. And how can I blame him? Like, I know they're 3-2, but the offense looks disgusting. It's ugly. It doesn't seem like it's going to hang with these best football teams in the league. You're not in the elites. You were hoping to be in that Eagles-Niners conversation, and it seems like you're a tier below. So they need to figure something out. They need to figure something out quick because they're also getting gashed in the run game. They did decent against Christian McCaffrey, but Jesus Christ, Jordan Mason had a fucking game. And then it seems that you just couldn't stop anything in the passing game either. So I think Deron Bland went out in this one too. They're banged up. They're very banged up in the secondary. Leighton Vander Esch, I think, might have went down as well. It's tough. It's tough for the Cowboys right now, man. Like I don't even know.
I mean, aside from CeeDee, they're just getting nothing out of anyone else in the passing game. Brandon Cooks has been an absolute wash. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. This man on his passing targets had a negative 2.2 EPA per play. Like, that's really bad. I know EPA per play isn't the be-all, end-all, but a negative 2.2 is really fucking bad. Really, really bad. They've no one who could separate.
No.
They've no one who could separate, and it's really showing. I mean, Dak, like we said, he had the interceptions. I mean, in my opinion, the game was already over.
Yeah.
The game was already over. Like, the interceptions suck, and it's a funny meme because he led the league in interceptions last year, but that's not the reason why they lost this game.
No.
It's not even close to the reason why they lost this game. The defense is struggling, right? Not struggling as a whole, but they struggled in this game, and they're going to struggle against the elite teams because they're missing Trayvon Diggs. Stephon Gilmore he hasn't been what he was. And aside from Gilmore, they're really lacking in the secondary. I know Bland's had a good start to the season, but the 49ers exposed them in the passing game. Exposed them. And they have one of the better O-lines in the league, arguably the best, but they completely negated Dallas's pass rush. And when you're negating that pass rush, it's going to be rough.
I saw on TikTok all the times that Parsons went up against Trent Williams one-on-one, and there wasn't many like true one-on-one, but every time he rushed Trent Williams hadn't figured out. Like DeMarcus Lawrence was doing better because Trent Williams was better against those speed rushes. But did you guys also hear what Jerry Jones said about CeeDee? They were like, so the reporters basically asked him like, do you want to get CeeDee Lamb the ball more? And he was like, "Nah, I don't think that's an issue. I think we should spread the ball out."
Nice.
It's like typical demented
Yeah, I
Jerry
don't put
Jones.
too much stock into it. Jerry Jones isn't the one fucking calling the plays.
Yeah,
for sure.
Give it more to Michael Gallup and Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and good things will happen. Like
see what happens. See what happens.
Yeah.
But nah, Chris, you're right, and it does allow for teams to game plan against CeeDee Lamb. So you're seeing a lot of double coverage. Like, these guys were not leaving CD on an island. A lot of the night he was doubled or had safety help over the top. They were not going to let the guy beat them. And I understand that because, I mean, look, at this point, I'm not fearing Michael Gallup or Brandon Cooks for shit either. Like, I'm not fearing them for anything. And plus, you have a pass rush that's elite. You have great corners all around. You have elite safeties that, I mean, look, this might be one of the greatest defenses I've ever seen in my life. Like, and lest we forget, a guy that gets forgotten in the best defensive player in the world conversation is Fred Warner. Like, oh my God, there's not a thing that this man can't do on a football field. Like, honestly, it's so nice to watch Fred Warner play football because he could cover, he could play the run. He's arguably the best tackler in the NFL. He's arguably the best coverage linebacker in the NFL. Like, what can this man not do? And he's an underrated aspect in terms of the best defensive player in the world conversation that needs to be mentioned more. So he just didn't allow anything. This 49ers defensive line didn't allow anything. This Cowboys offensive line is supposed to be one of the best. Michael, what's up, my guy? They didn't do anything to make the Niners defensive line uncomfortable. Like, they were having a field day. Dak was under constant pressure. He got sacked 3 times. It's not fair. And they just traded for Randy Gregory, who hasn't been successful in Denver to this point, but he's going to come to San Francisco, and I guarantee you he's going to get 2 big sacks in a playoff game.
He's like your 4th best defensive lineman.
Not even.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the crazy part. He's not even their 4th best defensive lineman anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
They have waves, and it doesn't stop. It literally does not stop.
Yeah, I mean, the speed, the power all over the field. I mean, we haven't even mentioned Nick Bosa yet, who's quietly been the highest graded pass rusher on PFF. I mean, everyone's talking about Watt, Parsons, and Myles Garrett. No one's talking about Nick Bosa, who's having another great year.
There doesn't need to be said anymore because he's just consistently the best in the league. Like, the new toy is obviously Micah Parsons. We all want to talk about a guy who can run a 4.3 at an outside linebacker position, rushing the passer. But how about we just talk about Nick Bosa being consistently the best power to speed edge rusher in the entire NFL? And then he's elite against the run too. Like, there's no person on this defense that you could target. You just can't. Because there's not a weak spot on this defense. They have elite linebackers. They have an elite front 7. Oh, my God. They have an elite front 7, and they have an elite secondary. You're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You play this team, and then I forgot who it was. I think it was Matt Miller on Twitter said, it just feels like the Niners hit harder than anyone in the NFL. Like, they just, when they tackle you, you feel them fucking tackling you way worse than any other team in the NFL. So,
and if they're not able to get the big hit on you, they're going to punch that ball out.
Exactly. It's unfair.
They're different. I mean, they probably already were the best team in the NFL, but on Sunday Night Football in prime time, demolishing their rivals, the Cowboys. I mean, they're in a tier of their own right now. The Eagles aren't even in that tier with them, and the Eagles are also undefeated. They're in a tier of their own. The ball's in their court. They could run the table from this point on.
I think there's gonna. This man is crazy. That just made me lose my entire train of thought. Jesus Christ. But yeah, exactly. I mean, they are in this tier of their own at the current moment, and then but it's scary that the Eagles are 5-0 and they haven't even played anywhere close to their best football yet either. So, we're talking about they might be on a collision course to face off in the NFC Championship, which is going to be a super fun game. I mean, Brock Purdy needs that rematch. Brock Purdy deserves that rematch. And now that I mentioned his name, we might as well move to the 49ers offense because, my God, where do you stop them? Not only can you not score on them, but you're not able to stop them either. So I'm sorry, Brock. That's how I want to start this. Brock Purdy, I am sorry. I am so sorry for saying anything bad about you at any point because, my God, you're quickly turning into one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And I know we got to account for situations and stuff like that. But here's the thing. in the situation that he's currently in, he's playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So I gotta give the man credit where it's due. So Brock, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm an asshole. I'm the worst person ever. I came at you. No, he's
no
not.
shot.
Well, okay. Give or take.
You go.
Yes, but no. Like, he is a system quarterback because he's with Kyle Shanahan, but he's executing that system better than arguably anyone else can execute that system. So that's how I'll put that. Is he a system quarterback? Yes and no, if that makes sense in a way.
Yeah.
But
I think by default, he is a system. I think every quarterback's a system quarterback because every quarterback's playing within a system. But I think Brock Purdy's elevating the system. He's elevating the system in a way we haven't seen before by any of these quarterbacks who've been in the Shanahan system. I mean, some of these drives he had, not even just specific drives, just for the entirety of the game. I mean, he dominated them. He did whatever he wanted. He was creating out of structure. Obviously, the pinpoint accuracy is always going to be there, but I mean, he really doesn't have a hole in his game right now. I mean, you could say the arm strength, but it doesn't even matter because they're going to just beat you methodically down the field. I mean, he's hitting the middle of the field. He's hitting outside the numbers. He's extending plays out of structure. I mean, he's just balling out of his mind. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. He's clearing the NFL in like all the advanced stats, EPA per play, success rate, expected completion percentage, all that shit. He's clearing the NFL.
He's also 10-0 as a starter.
Yeah,
and the thing about Brock that is like really impressive to me is that he's so young, and I don't think I ever see him stare down a receiver. Like, he moves from read to read super quick, and that's an unbelievable trait to have in a quarterback as young as him.
I think it's even more than 10-0. I think it's like 13 or 14-0.
Is it? Oh,
yes. Yeah. It's crazy. Like, it's like 13 or 14-0 by now. He was 8-0 last year as a starter, I'm pretty sure, and he's already 5-0 this year. So yeah, I think he's 13-0.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
But obviously not including the playoff game that he didn't finish. In games that he's finished, he's 13-0. I mean, or 14, including playoffs. Like, what more can I do with this? Like, it seems he's just getting better week after week after week. Like, it just seems like, yes, and I came at his arm strength and I said all these things about Sam Darnold, but I didn't come to the realization that you just made the perfect point. He goes through reads quicker than any quarterback I can argue in the entire NFL.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, the throws that he was making, it didn't even take arm strength. He just had the perfect amount of touch on some of the throws. Where, like, there were 3 or 4 throws during that game where I straight up watched and I was like, wow, that was a beautiful throw. Like, over a linebacker in front of a corner. I'm just like, this makes no sense. I'm like, Brock Purdy is Mr. Irrelevant in his draft class. The last pick as a quarterback, which is never successful, by the way, and then is now one of the best in the entire NFL. Like,
not even a question.
Not even remotely close. It's not even remotely close. You didn't need to do that. He just caught a stray for no reason.
Yeah.
But yes, obviously. But also, I could argue if Danny got put in this situation when he started his fucking career, he'd be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL too. But you know what? Like, I just
Danny don't read the defense like Brock reads the defense.
That is true. Like that.
That is very true. So
I've never seen anything like this.
No, me neither. It's insane.
He was the last pick in the draft, and he's on pace to win the MVP's in his hands right now.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna give our MVP ladders, but yeah, I mean, giving it away, yeah, he's my fucking favorite to win the MVP right now. Like,
it's his award to lose right now.
Yeah,
Nuts.
Doesn't make any sense.
I mean, like, obviously it's still super early, but like, the only person you could compare something like this to is fucking Tom Brady.
Yep.
Like, it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's really nuts. Like, obviously, I'm not saying Brock Purdy's going to be Tom Brady, but at this point, like, who could you compare what Brock Purdy's done to given his circumstances?
No, there's nobody. All this man has done is just he got put in a situation where he was behind the 3rd overall pick that they traded 2 first-round picks to go get. He was behind Jimmy Garoppolo, who Kyle Shanahan sought out to go pick up. And yes, injuries allowed him to do what he did, but then he just straight up outplayed Trey Lance in training camp and then the preseason and all that. And then we have this guy who's the last pick in the draft being arguably one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the entire NFL. So it's wild. Like, this man was beating out hand-picked guys for this team, hand-picked dudes for this team. And I don't even know. Like, I'm speechless about this man. Brock, thank you for proving me wrong. I will never, ever, ever doubt you again. You are more than capable of winning a Super Bowl. You are more than capable of winning a Super Bowl. It also helps when you have guys like Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, best QB in the NFL. Oh, my God. When you have guys like that, like, you can't do anything about it. Like, you can't guard all these guys. George Kittle's going to go 100% on fucking catches and touchdowns. It's like, what is this? Brandon Ayuk has proven himself to be a true number 1 in the NFL now. Deebo Samuel is just the perfect, like, other guy, I guess, in this offense now. It's crazy.
And McCaffrey.
The parallel.
You didn't even mention McCaffrey.
Oh my God!
It's so.
And now you've uncovered this perfect backup running back, because it seems like you always seem to do this in Jordan Mason, who's just, when you need to give Christian McCaffrey a break, Mason's getting 7 yards a carry every single time he touches the ball. So I don't know. I don't know what you do. I've never seen a team thoroughly dominate through the first 5 weeks like the San Francisco 49ers just did. So, yeah, shout out to them, man. They're different.
Yeah.
And I would say they're easily the favorites in the NFL to win the Super Bowl right now. Easily.
No, they're winning the Super Bowl, bro.
I don't know.
Like, I mean, it's the NFL and injuries happen, but if they're fully healthy, they're winning that Super. No one's beating them.
I don't know, man. Anything happens in that playoff.
No, they're winning the fucking Super Bowl, bro. And I was hesitant about the Niners going into the season, but now they're far and away the best team in the NFL. No one's beating them. They have a counter for everything you're going to throw at them.
Yeah, they could play any brand of football.
Yeah.
Any. And it's crazy because it also helps so much that they have Brock Purdy on the salary that he has. So you're just going to pay everybody else, and Brock Purdy's making $600,000, $700,000 to be one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL. Like, come on. That's not fair. So yeah, I mean, any direction. They'll outplay you no matter the type of game that you want to play against them. So it's ridiculous. This is one of the greatest rosters I've ever seen assembled.
Yeah.
Them and the Eagles. So yeah. I don't even know what more to say about them. But you know what? Since we're on the topic of Brock Purdy, since he was Mr. Irrelevant, right? Chris, I want you to introduce it because this was a segment you wanted to do.
Redrafting the 2022 NFL Draft. Sick.
All right, so we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, and then just do we want to go like
3, 2, 1?
The third person gets the first pick of the next round, or
no,
keep
okay. Do it just around. All right. With the first pick, it's a no-brainer. I'm taking Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. There's no other choice.
Yeah, it's got to be.
So insane.
My up or you, Sully?
You could go.
Okay. Number 2, with the second pick in the 2022 redraft, I'm going to take Aiden Hutchinson. Guy's a dog.
He might win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, there's just no other way to put it. He's just a dog. That's it.
Okay. With the third pick, I feel like the top 3 was pretty obvious. I'm going to take Defensive Rookie of the Year, Sauce Gardner. All right. What you got, Chris?
With the next pick, I'm going to take Offensive Rookie of the Year, Garrett Wilson.
Solid.
He needs a
With
better
the-
situation. He needs a better situation.
Oh, dear God, does he? With the 5th pick, I'm going to select Tariq Woolen.
What a dog.
He
He's
is a
so
dog.
good.
I got dogs on my team.
With the 6th pick, I'm gonna take Chris Olave, his team. Oh, Garrett Wilson's Ohio State teammate.
Solid. He's a dog too.
He's
Really
so good.
He gets hit so hard. Like it's so hard to watch.
Bro, Derek
He just
Carr.
gets thrown to the ground too. Like it's crazy.
Derek Carr needs to get this man the ball more. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
100%.
With my next pick, I'm going to take Ike Ekwonu, the tackle out of NC State.
Okay.
He's been a baller so far in his NFL career. Only bright spot for the Panthers right now.
Right. What are we at? 7 or 8? We're at 8.
Yeah.
With the 8th pick, I'm going to select another offensive lineman, Tyler Smith, from Dallas Cowboys.
Nice. It's a good
Plays
pick.
everywhere on the O-line.
So many good offensive linemen in this class besides Evan Neal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, literally.
Man,
Oh my
fuck
God!
me.
Don't even be
I
started.
almost want to keep the run going just to spite Evan Neal, but because there are a lot of really good offensive linemen here. But next up, Kansas City Chiefs always hit on their draft picks, and they hit on another one. I'm going to take Trent McDuffie.
That's my guy, bro. I fucking
Yeah, I
love
like
Trent
Trent.
He's one of
McDuffie.
the best corners in the NFL now.
It's my freaking man, dude. With the next pick, I'm gonna take a dog. He's been balling the fuck out this year, honestly. One of the best in the league. I'm gonna take my guy Kyle Hamilton here.
Yep.
Good pick.
He's
good
been a
pick.
fucking dog, dude.
The
All over
Ravens
the field.
always get amazing defensive players and use them in the perfect way. It's just the Ravens thing.
See, I have the order written here, but I kind of want to take the guy below him. Yeah, let's check it out. The next pick, I'm going to select Jordan Davis for the Eagles.
Another
He's a
dog
big boy. Yeah,
flies
he's a
under
big
the
boy.
radar just because of how good the Eagles are. But
Yeah, exactly. But he is really good.
All right, since I value left tackles so much, he had a great rookie season for the Seattle Seahawks, who seem like they're hitting on every single pick recently. I'm going to take Charles Cross.
so what pick is this now?
I think that was 15.
Okay, so this is 16.
Yeah.
Cool. So with the next pick, man, this is tough. There's two guys I'm contemplating, two edge rushers.
I know exactly who the two are. Yeah.
I'm going to go with James Houston of the Detroit Lions. He's a dog. He had a great rookie year. It's kind of getting overshadowed by his boy Aiden Hutchinson, but he was a dog last year. So
In limited snaps, he had one of the best pass rush win rates in the entire NFL. Yeah, James Houston's a good player. Not who I thought you were going to go with. But I'm going to stay with the offensive line, and I'm going
wait,
to
nah, it's Tom's pick.
Is it you or me? No, it's me.
Oh,
right?
I'm
It's
going
Tom.
to
Well, I'm not going to take your pick. I'm going to go with a wide receiver with the next pick. I'm going to go Drake London.
My guy.
another
Keep
guy.
him.
Get him in a better situation, please.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Shout out Desmond Ritter, bro.
At the
I'm going
game
to
of
stay
his
on the
life.
offensive
Yeah.
line. I'm gonna stick with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to take Tyler Linderbaum.
Nice. I guess we'll go one more round and then we'll
Yeah,
call
okay.
it. Cool.
Yeah.
So with my next pick, I'm going to take the guy who I was contemplating taking last round, Kansas City Chief, George Karlaftis. They always find these
Like
guys, the
that.
Chiefs.
It's tough. I might leave my boy off here, but with the last pick, with my last pick, I'm gonna go with Breathe. I fucked it up. Hold on.
I'll go with Breece Hall.
Breathe Hall. With my last pick, I'm gonna select Breece Hall.
I'm glad you let Mike Tyson make that pick.
Yeah.
All right. I was gonna show love to one of the running backs if they weren't selected, but you did that already. Shout out to Ken Walker and Isaiah Pacheco real quick because those two dudes deserve to be drafted. But I've been hyping up one guy pretty much all off season. He's a wide receiver. I'm gonna stick with the skill positions, and I'm gonna go George Pickens, baby. What a season he's having so far with a quarterback that struggles to throw the football.
It's crazy. All the people went on like Kayvon, Christian Watson, Trayvon Walker doesn't get drafted.
Bro. Yeah, Trayvon, the number one overall pick.
No, this draft was deep as hell.
This draft is
everyone's gonna clown us like, oh my god, how could you not draft Kenny Pickett in your redraft? You guys are frauds. These guys never watch football in their life. Shut up.
Some of the guys that I wanted to draft, like Ken Walker, Jermaine Johnson, Zion Johnson, like these are some. Deron Bland has been phenomenal this year for the Cowboys. And then, I mean, look, I hate to say it, Sam Howell's another guy that I could have considered for this because the quarterback position is so important. Damian Pierce didn't get drafted because he's having a rough season behind a terrible offensive line in Houston.
Jahan Dotson.
Romeo Dobbs, another one. So, yeah, just a lot of
deep draft class. That's why I wanted to do this draft class. So, like, these guys are all balling out in their second years.
And shout out to Terrell Bernard. The man has to step up now that Matt Milano is gone. So, just what a draft class. All right, since I just mentioned the Buffalo Bills, we might as well stick on that topic. Man, what a disappointing performance for the Buffalo Bills in this one against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Final score 25-20. Took place in London, the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars, it seems.
It was so obvious, man.
Honestly, I wanted to pick them because it's a home game for the Jags pretty much, and plus the Bills had to travel, but I just thought, riding high off that big W for Buffalo, like I thought they were going to keep that momentum going, but of course not. Why would they? The Buffalo Bills seem to just be the one team that it's like you see one thing one week, which is the greatest team of all time, and then the next week you see a team that can't move the ball, can't defend, and it's just like what is going on? Pick a side. Shout out to the podcast. It's so tough. Like I don't know. I want to start off. Josh Allen's at the start of this game really struggled. Like the offense as a whole really struggled. I mean, you see it with James Cook. He had -4 yards in this game. They couldn't establish a run, and it's a problem in and of itself that they didn't even try to establish the run at multiple points in this game. So the Jags have been good against the run all season. That needs to be said, but the Bills, once again, fell back into bad habits. They relied too much on Josh. And, of course, Josh could do some superhuman things a lot of the time. He didn't in the first half. And then you took a back seat in this game, 11-0, and you put yourself behind the 8 ball very early. So I don't know what more there really is to say about the Buffalo Bills. It sucks the injuries that they have on defense, might I add, because it seems like Matt Milano's out for the year. Obviously, Trey White was already out for the year. It's rough. It's rough right now. Too many injuries all on that defense. But Von Miller seemingly going to be ramping up, obviously, and I expect him to be close to the Von that we know by playoff time. But yeah, it's rough. It's rough for Bills for Bills Mafia right now. So what are some of our thoughts on the Buffalo Bills here?
I mean, it's so obvious. I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I've been saying this whole time. You have to establish a run game. I get it. You have Josh Allen. He's so good. But you're never going to win meaningful football games when you can't run the football. I mean, -0.44 EPA per play on early rushing downs. Like, that's just not going to get it. When you're running the ball on first and second down and you're not getting anything, it's not going to work. And it's also not going to work when you don't even attempt it. Like you said, James Cook had, 5 carries in this game? It's just not going to work. And like you said, shout out to the Jaguars defense. That's my big takeaway from this game, honestly. The Bills are going to bill. I'm sure they're going to, who do they play next week? The Giants, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so they're going to 40-piece them, so it doesn't even matter. But I mean, the Jaguars defense flies under the radar because, they have this young explosive offense, but they have some young playmakers on that defense. I mean, they're really building something in that secondary with Tyson Campbell. They have Darius Williams, who had an insane interception in this game.
Yes.
He almost had 2 of them. You have Andre Sisco, who's one of my favorite players in the fucking NFL. He's a dog. You obviously have the better Josh Allen on the edge. You have Trayvon Walker, who's coming into his own. Oluwakan, who's a tackling machine. I'm pretty sure he's led the NFL in tackles the past 2 years.
Devin Lloyd.
Devin Lloyd's another one. Like, they have all this young talent on that defense, and it's, it's going to take time. Like, they're going to have inconsistencies over the course of the year, but this was a game where they really put it together and they showed like what they could be. And I mean, that's only going to help this Jags team. I mean, this Jags team, yeah, they want to win right now. Like, they have a chance to win right now, especially given the division they're in, but it's about the long game for them, in my opinion. They're trying to build something for the future for Trevor Lawrence's entire career, and I think they're doing a great job. I think they've hit a lot of their draft picks, especially on the defensive end, and they showed out in this game.
So I'll continue off that. I'll go for the Jaguars first. First of all, just morale-wise, I think it's a big win for them to take down Buffalo. And the Jags were a team with pretty high expectations coming into the season. Maybe not Super Bowl or anything like that, but just they're supposed to win. The other thing I'll say is, from what I saw, Mike Caldwell, the defensive coordinator, he was very aggressive against the Bills. He blitzed Josh Allen on 32% of his dropbacks, and on those plays, Josh Allen went 4 for 11 for 41 yards. So they got pressure on him successfully, and if you can take down an offense, especially the Bills were coming off a red-hot week, so that's huge for them. And, yeah, like you said, they're just getting a bunch of young talent, hitting on their draft picks, and that's how you do it in the NFL. The Bills, to some degree, I think it's just like the same old Bills. I've said for a long time, if the Bills don't stomp people out, they just abandon what they came in to do, and they go back to do the same old stuff, like, just using Josh Allen as a tank and not running the football. And if they don't win big, it gets ugly when it gets to a close game, and it's a big problem for the Bills. It's been one. They need to establish the run. Milano going down really, really sucks. Jacksonville pretty much marched down the field when he came out of the game. And yeah, the Bills just need to establish some consistency. But running the football, I think, should be their biggest priority going forward.
Like you said, that's the biggest thing, not just running the football, but running the football when you're not stomping a team out.
Yep.
And not, flipping the entire game script and just saying, all right, we're in a close game. Here you go, Josh Allen. Here's the ball. Right. You're going to win us this game. Everyone else is going to stand back and do nothing, especially the running backs. The running backs are just going to stand in that backfield and block for you. Like, it's not a winning formula. Mm-hmm. And, we all love Josh Allen. Like, he is a fucking dog, Josh Allen. But it's just an impossible task.
Yes.
It's an impossible task.
They had 10 running back carries in this. 10. That's it. Just 10. And then Josh had another 4. Like, I understand that you have this duo at receiver, too, that were insane in this game, might I add.
Gabe Davis is having a season, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. And Gabe Davis, the post-type sleeper, finally, not making me look like an idiot anymore. But it's like, I understand all these weapons you have in the passing game. I get that. But, like, you have to try. Even if James Cook is going for 5 carries and -4 yards, you have to keep giving him the ball. I mean, you've seen what's happened the recent weeks. I mean, this is a guy where, like, I didn't think would be able to handle the 18 to 20 carries a game, but when he was getting 18 to 20 carries a game the last few weeks, he's putting up 100, if not a little bit more in some of these weeks. So, I mean, James Cook has been incredibly effective for you guys. So for them to just abandon that entirely, I can't understand that. I can't comprehend why they just say, all right, Josh Allen, you have these superhuman abilities, go make it happen. And it's not a formula that's going to win. We've seen it time and time again now. And it just seems like this is why every year we get to the playoffs and we just have that slight feeling that, like, okay, the Bills are a fluke. Like they will somehow mess this up. And their best opportunity, I remember that shootout against Kansas City where Gabe Davis had his 4 fucking touchdowns. And after that, I mean, you really haven't gone anywhere close to that. You got blown out by the Bengals last year. And it just seems like every single season, it's like, it's not happening. So I feel like this is your season. If you have an opportunity, this is your opportunity. You need to capitalize on this window right now. Yes, it sucks with the Milano and Trey White injury, but your pass rush is proven to be one of the better ones in the entire league. And you still have depth at corner. You guys got to figure it out. Like, stick with the run game. Give the defense some time on the side of the field. Like, I don't know. I think this Buffalo Bills team just continuously upsets me. Like, I just finally believe in them. I start to believe in them, and then it's just nope.
So I pose this question to you guys. They're going to make the playoffs. I don't really think there's a doubt in anyone's mind that they won't make the playoffs. They probably will win the division, honestly. I don't know. The Dolphins are still right there, but they'll make the playoffs regardless. If they don't win a playoff game this year, or if they go one and done, they win a wild card game, and then they lose in the divisional, Sean McDermott on the hot seat?
Yeah.
Has to be, right?
Unfortunately, yeah. It seems ever increasing that this is an offensive-minded league. You cannot have a defensive coach unless you have an elite offensive coordinator. And Ken Dorsey's not that. He's just not. They need Brian Daboll back is what they need. And he's not walking through that door anytime soon, or at least I hope he's not.
I mean, it's just even with Daboll, it was the same problem. So the same stuff we're saying now, we were saying when Daboll was there.
They did the same thing. So that's my thing about McDermott is if they lose in the wild card or the first round, it's probably because of what we just said. They abandon their game plan and just go back to improvising and doing the same shit they've tried to do for years, and it hasn't worked.
Yeah, it's tough.
And like you said, Matt, like you alluded to earlier, like they've been so much better than years past in terms of establishing the run.
Yeah.
Like James Cook has been before this game, he's been averaging 100 scrimmage yards. Like he's been
like
really,
6
really
yards
good.
per carry.
Yeah, he's been really, really good. And like he had a rough start to this game, but like obviously if you only give a guy 5 carries, it's most of the time not going to be the best result.
Yeah, unless he's Devon Achane. That's it.
Yeah, my guy, my goat, my glorious king.
True.
Also, unfortunate news with him this week, but but yeah, I mean, exactly. You hit it on the head. It's sometimes you're not always going to have an effective run game in the start of the game. It's just how much do you stick with it from that point forward? And they don't. If it's not successful early, they will give up on it. They will completely abandon it. But yeah, Buffalo, get your shit together, man. Shout out to the Jags. What a game. What a game from them.
Yeah.
They as many times as they tried to hand it to Buffalo though late in the game, because they definitely attempted to do so. But Trevor Lawrence made a pretty throw to Calvin Ridley down the sideline late game.
Yeah.
Travis Etienne went nuts later in the game as well.
Oh my God, yeah.
Broke 2 big runs. He's a special talent too, might I add. Like he is.
That's what he does. He like every time he gets the ball, you think he's going to go for 40, 50 yards.
Yes. Him and Ken Walker are so similar in the vein that they could go for 2 yards per carry for the entirety of the game. And then all of a sudden, their whole day is made when they break this 50-yard run that it's like you can't tackle him and you can't catch him.
Yeah, I think Travis Etienne is clearing the NFL in terms of broken tackles right now. I think he's at like 36, and the next closest is McCaffrey at 25 or something like that.
Yeah, he is.
So
which I love. I love to see that.
Yeah, Travis Etienne's a dog, bro.
That's the player we saw in college. That is the player that we saw in college at Clemson. So
yeah, like you guys said, shout out to Trev, man. Trev is quietly having a really good season. It's nothing that jumps off the page, not an MVP type season, but he's been super efficient with his throws. And a lot of the incompletions, honestly, have been the receiver's fault so far this season. Calvin
Ridley leads the league in drops.
Yeah. Which will get better. It'll get better.
Yeah.
Give him a pass. He was away from football for 2 years.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Trev's been really, really good this year.
So, yeah, all right.
I look at Trev's passing charts after every game. My only takeaway from Trev is, man, with all these explosive weapons, I would love to see him take more deep shots.
Yeah.
But with his throws that he is making, the short throws, the intermediate throws, he's been so fucking efficient. So shout out to Trev.
The ball
Shout
just
out
looks
Trey.
different coming out of his hands too. It's so he is
He is aura. He is aura, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
He's such a pretty man. He's just majestic, so majestic. All right. Speaking of majestic, someone got his swagger back this past game, I will say, and that is Joe Shiesty. Joe Shiesty.
I was wondering where you were going with that majestic line.
Oh,
I don't know.
Joe Shiesty's back. Joe Shiesty is absolutely back. It was great to see. And not only did he obviously played the Cardinals, we could be chalking that up to just playing against the bad team, but the Cardinals have kept everything competitive so far this season for the most part. And I mean,
they kept it competitive for a little while too.
They did. They absolutely did. I mean, I decided to especially make an effort to go back and watch this game because I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't just a pretty stat sheet for Joe Burrow. I wanted to see if he actually looked different, if the calf looks like it's healing and stuff like that. He wasn't lying when he said he felt 100% or close to 100% healthy because he had zip on his throws. He was accurate towards the sideline. He was throwing the deep ball a couple of times, made a pretty throw to Jamar Chase. Oh, my God. And then a crazy catch by Jamar, too, to just use the hands and reach out and snag that. Joe looks like he's back. And that's a big, big thing for the Cincinnati Bengals because I was starting to get a little worried that this was going to be a scenario where they had to shut his ass down for a few weeks. And as a Jamar Chase owner in a lot of fantasy leagues, wasn't feeling too good about that one. But yeah, Joe's back, looked phenomenal in this game. And I mean, Jamar Chase wasn't lying when he said that he's always fucking open. So, because he is. Just throw the ball to Jamar. He's showing you right now, you could target your best receiver on 40% of his routes, and you're going to have a pretty successful day. So Jamar balled out. Joe Mixon always getting the tough yards. He's very important to what the Cincinnati Bengals do. Even though he's inefficient on the ground, he gets the yards that are necessary for this team.
I love Joe Mixon because I feel like he's changed his game to fit what the offense needs from him. Joe Mixon back in the day was always this big explosive play type of guy. And now it seems like all they really need him to do is just, like you said, pick up those short yardage situations. And he's been doing exactly that, fighting real hard between the tackles. So you love to see that. I love Joe Mixon. It's one of my guys.
It's my guy.
Yeah. And then, I mean, the defense played well in this one. Josh Dobbs was under constant pressure, made some really terrible throws, might I add.
It was by far his worst game as a starter for the Cardinals.
Yeah, unlike him because he hasn't been putting the ball in harm's way, and he did quite a bit in this game. I think he was starting to feel himself a little bit. Think he thought he was a little better than he is now. But stay within yourself, Josh. You've been playing so well. Just stay within yourself. You don't got to do these crazy things. But outside of that, I mean, Trey Hendrickson's a baller. This defense is solid. If not spectacular, they are at least solid. And I'm very happy to see Joe Burrow balling out again. I really am. It makes James Conner got hurt in this one too. That's another thing that I might add.
Yeah. So I have two things before I even analyze the game. First thing, Tom, who did you take in the survivor pool?
In the survivor pool, I took the Lions.
Okay, nice. I took the Bengals. That's why that made me ask. Yeah.
I'm way out of there.
Second thing, Pete. I know you know, Tom, because Pete always goes to you about his trades. He's been trying to trade Jamar Chase in that league that he has Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Been trying so hard, and I keep telling him, like, yo, don't trade him. He's going to have a good week at some point. If you want to trade him, then just wait for him to have a good week and then trade him, blah, 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 blah. He's like, nah, I'm going to trade him. And then he asks me the other day, he's like, yo, Calvin Ridley or DK Metcalf? I said DK Metcalf. He said, bet. I traded Jamar for Kyron Williams and Calvin Ridley. I said, okay. But I said, my response was, I hope you know, Pete, that just because you traded him, he's going to go for 55 points in fantasy this week.
Yep.
And he went for exactly 55 points in fantasy this week.
He went for 53, I think.
You were something like that.
Close enough.
But
that's crazy.
So I texted. So then I emphasized the chat, and he was like, "Oh yeah, the trade got canceled anyway, so we're good. I still have Jamar." I was like, "Thank God, bro." But I thought that was funny.
Yeah,
bro. Jamar is just—he's
posted a 7-Eleven on his Twitter. Bro said, "I'm always open."
That's so fire.
Nah, I mean, he was fucking balling, bro. He was balling. He's a dog.
19 targets.
Yeah.
15 catches. 192. And 3 of them things.
I mean, this is just such a feel-good win for the Bengals. Obviously, much needed. Not even just the fact that you won, but the way you won, the way you did, with Joe Burrow balling out, with Jamar balling out, with the defense making some huge big plays. I mean, the AFC North looks like it's wide open right now.
Yes,
Looks like it's wide open, and they still have a chance to make a run at the division. So this is a huge win. Huge win. I don't know who they play next, but it's definitely a step in the right direction for them.
Yeah. Burrow also was, I mean, obviously a big part of him coming back was his ability to actually move. He didn't just stand there and get pressured every time he snapped the ball. He was actually able to move out of the pocket and make the throws he needs to, which that's peak Joe Burrow right there.
Yeah.
So
they get the Seahawks next, and then they get the bye. If they could, Seahawks at home too. If they could get a win over the Seahawks going into the bye and going to the bye 3-3, that's fucking huge.
Yeah,
they'd be feeling great.
I mean, they're 2 games out of the bye, are the Niners and the Bills, so I wouldn't feel too great about that.
That's the perfect time to go to the bye.
To go into the bye 3-3, let Joe Burrow get an extra week to get fully healthy. I mean, that's sick.
To then face arguably the 2 best teams in the NFL, you could say. Yeah, I mean, this is perfect, though. This was exactly what they needed. And if Burrow has another big week next week, if I'm the Bengals, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great going to San Fran. If they are in San Francisco, I'd be feeling so good. I'd be feeling, honestly, I would have been terrified to go to San Fran 3 weeks ago as a Bengals fan. Now I'd be feeling like, okay, we got a legit shot because we have this guy number 9 here. So
need this one this week against the Seahawks.
Yeah, definitely
need
absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
Need it. Like you said, shout out to the defense, man. Trey Hendrickson's having himself a fucking year. Shout out to Lav for predicting the Dax Hill breakout. Dax Hill has been a fucking baller, but I mean, Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard are probably the most underrated edge duo in the entire NFL, and they're going to continue to be that.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And then DJ Reader, another one that's super underrated for that team as well.
Yeah, even the linebackers. I mean, what's his name?
Logan Wilson.
Pratt and Logan Wilson. Yeah, they're having really good years.
Yeah, there's some ballers over there in Cincinnati. But I mean, look, speaking of ballers, Jared Goff at home. What else does he do?
Talk about it.
He just throws touchdowns at home. And you don't even need Amon-Ra, I guess. If Jared Goff is at home, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. Wow. Just wow. Because, I mean, this Lions team, it must feel so good to be a Lions fan right about now, to be honest. You've waited all these years for things to finally go right, and it seems like they're going to go so right for you this season. Yes, you've had injuries, but they've dealt with them. I mean, 20 of 28, 236, 3 touchdowns. And then David Montgomery is just turning into one of the greatest running backs of all time. So I really don't even know what more to say, to be entirely honest. I'll leave the floor to you. You know what? Actually, I want to ask a question, and I'll let you guys have the floor. Do we think the Lions are for real?
Yes, I do. I think they're for real. I think Jared Goff he's not even playing out of his mind. He's just doing exactly what Jared Goff does. I mean, the thing that sticks out to me is the big time throws. He's at 9. He's tied for 6th with Lamar, Russell Wilson, and the GOAT King, Sam Howell. But to see that he's making those big time throws is obviously huge and shows that he's not just a check down merchant. But the biggest thing is, I mean, this is who David Montgomery was supposed to be. I mean, I know, Matt, you were also very high on him when he was coming out of college. I mean, shout out to fantasy footballers, honestly, because those motherfuckers put me on to David Montgomery. What'd they call him? David Mopportunity or some shit?
David Mopportunity, yeah.
Like, they really put me on, but like those guys were super high on David Montgomery coming out. And I mean, we've just been waiting for it, and this is just the perfect situation for him. And he's fully capable of being a 3-down back and being a workhorse. He's great, obviously great running the ball. That's on full display. I think he's averaging over 5 a carry this season, but he's also a great run blocker, and he's not great, but he's really damn good catching the ball out of the backfield. Like he's one of the few guys in the NFL right now who is really capable of being a true workhorse. And behind this great elite offensive line, that's just going to open up everything else. I mean, like you alluded to, Matt, they were able to do this without Amon-Ra and without Jahmyr Gibbs. And granted, it was the Carolina Panthers who are the worst team in the NFL right now. But, I mean, the Lions really don't look like they have a hole in their game. You know, the pass rush has been fucking amazing. Like you said earlier on the show, Aiden Hutchinson is a legitimate candidate for the Defensive Player of the Year right now. He might not win it because he doesn't have the sack numbers like everyone else has, but let Aiden Hutchinson have a 3 or 4 sack game, and he's going to be right there with everyone else because he leads the NFL in total pressures. Like I said earlier, James Houston is a baller. They nailed their draft with Brian Branch, and who's the other guy in the middle linebacker? Blanking on his name. Jack Campbell. They nailed their draft. Obviously, they're a little bit weak in the secondary. They're missing C.J. Gardner-Johnson, but I don't really – if you want to pick out a hole in this team, it is the secondary. So that's where I'd say I don't know if they're able to compete with the big dogs, but I don't know if there's any really big dogs that are going to be able to get them out of their game. It seems to me like they're going to be able to play their game. They're going to be able to control the time of possession, and they're going to be able to slowly march down the field against anyone. And I mean, Jared Goff in play action is arguably the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yep.
So I really do think they're legit. I don't know if they're going to win the Super Bowl, but they're a lock to make the playoffs, and I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs. Especially if they end up getting a home game in the playoffs. I would not want to go to Detroit and play this team.
Bro, the fans are buzzing, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tom.
So I had written down, even though it is the Panthers, like we said, the worst team in the league, you don't have Gibbs, you don't have St. Brown, and you still put up 42 points. I mean, that's no matter who you're going up against, that's insane. The other thing is, as far as being legit in the sense that they're a great team. Are they going to beat the Niners? Who knows? You know what I mean? I don't know if they can get past them, but just about anyone else in the NFC, yeah, I like my odds against them, especially like you said, if they got to go into Detroit. Jared Goff has been in the Super Bowl before, so he knows what it takes to make a playoff run like that. The other thing is, coming out of their bye week, this is their schedule. They get the Chargers, the Bears twice, Packers, Saints, Broncos, Vikings twice, and the Cowboys. They're gonna win games. Like, they're gonna win a lot of games. So, and they're gonna get into a rhythm. And like you said, you got a superstar like Hutchinson. Losing C.J. Gardner-Johnson does suck, but this offense is something special. And you already know Dan Campbell has that team fired up every day, not even every week, every day. Like, he's probably yelling at them right now to run through a wall or something, you know, like
I'd run through a fucking wall for that guy.
I would absolutely run through a wall for Dan Campbell. Yeah, 100%.
Dan Campbell, you know, like, he is just a master motivator. Yeah. I wouldn't even care if he didn't know a goddamn thing about football, because that man can motivate a fan. Like, literally a fan. I'm not talking about a fan of the Detroit Lions, because I'm telling you right now, those fans are plenty motivated to get to Detroit Lions games right about now. After going through all those years, we're talking an 0-16 season. Like, we're talking about some of the worst years for an NFL franchise we've ever seen. Like, paper bags in the stands on almost everybody. And now you're 4-1. You're feeling good. There's really not much of a weakness on this team. As you said, and I mean, Chris, you said there's a weakness in that secondary, but those guys are playing well right now. And they're playing up to a par where you have to play to, because all you need to do is just be aided by a pass rush. Pun intended. It wasn't funny. That was a bad joke. I wish we had like a fucking soundboard thing where it was just like,
yeah.
But not, I don't think
we figured it out eventually.
Yeah, let's go. But yeah, it's it's going to be a successful season for the Lions no matter what, I think, at this point. I'm happy for them that Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions both found their match. Like, I was literally pushing to get Jared Goff out the door. My whole narrative was go draft Bryce Young somehow, some way, trade up for his ass. And Bryce ain't even playing all that well, which is super unfortunate. But Jared Goff and the Lions have found their perfect match because this offensive line is elite. And when you keep Jared Goff clean in the pocket, there are very few passers in the NFL that are as good as he is. Under duress, when things are not perfect, is completely different for Jared Goff. But when you keep this man clean, he is deadly accurate, deep, middle of the field, short. So I'm very excited to see how far this team could go. I really am. I think it's gonna be a fun season for Detroit.
So interesting stat. Coming in at number 3 in PFF coverage grade is Aiden Hutchinson at 92.4 out of all defensive players. That interception he had was crazy.
That was nuts.
While I'm on this page, so Aiden Hutchinson's third at a 92.4 grade. First has a grade of 96.5, which is insane on the PFF scale. Who do you guys think number 1 is?
Isaac Yiadom.
No. Who the fuck?
Who?
Isaac Yiadom's number 10.
Saints corner. He's been balling this year.
He has been balling.
Oh, in coverage? Oh, I have no idea.
I'll give you this. It's not a corner,
It's not
a secondary player. It's
not
like a random. You guys probably aren't gonna guess it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get it.
Hold on.
I'll give you one more guess, Matt.
Not a. He's probably a defensive lineman on limited snaps. To be honest, watch. Go ahead. I don't know.
It's AJ Epineza.
As I said, a defensive lineman on limited snaps because
He had a game.
Passer like crazy this year too.
Yeah, he had a game.
He has 3 coverage snaps.
There we go. Yeah. Also, you said third for the Detroit line for Aiden Hutchinson in coverage. The Lions are actually third in overall team grade for PFF so far this season as well, which is kind of ridiculous. In case anyone thinks this team is a fluke right now, they are most definitely not. And they're deep. So whatever type of game you want to play, this is another team where they could be physical with the run. They could roll the ball all over the field if you're not getting a pass rush at Jared Goff consistently. And I mean,
they just have green all over when you go across their PFF thing.
You just brought back Jamison Williams too, as if he was a midseason free agent acquisition. And he had a drop in this game, but Jamison Williams, even if he's not going to be getting 5-6 catches a game, just the threat of a guy who can run 4.2 is going to have to make defenses account for him at all times. So that's huge for them. There's so much talent on this team, and I'm so happy because I love this Lions team. I've been a big fan of this Lions team for a little while now. I'm rooting for them. I'll say that much. I'm definitely rooting for them.
Definitely.
Do we want to cover the other side of this? Because it's getting ugly in Carolina.
I mean, there's not much to cover.
Yeah, they're just bad.
I don't.
Does Bryce need to? Do you guys think Bryce needs to sit and like?
I don't think it's Bryce. I just think
no, it's definitely not Bryce.
I think they're just setting him
Some
up.
of it is Bryce.
He's definitely not playing great, but it's just like if you put CJ Stroud in this situation, do you think he's gonna succeed?
No, I agree.
Maybe he'll be better than Bryce because he's a better. Like I whiffed on that. Like
so did I.
Yeah, like I'll say I was wrong on that.
I mean, so did the Panthers. So
yeah,
it's okay.
CJ Stroud's literally the best rookie quarterback we've ever seen through 5 games. So like I whiffed on that, but if you put CJ Stroud in this situation, I don't know if he'd do much better. And I know everyone's gonna say, but the Texans situation is dog shit. The Texans situation on paper is dog shit, but the way they're playing isn't dog shit. The O-line's playing great. Nico Collins looks like a true wide receiver 1. The defense is even helping them out. Like the Texans situation doesn't look dog shit. This Panthers situation is fucking dog shit. The defense is god awful, terrible, dealing with injuries all over the place. And the offense, not even just the players and how they're playing, but the scheme just is not doing him any fucking favors. It's not doing him any favors.
See, my biggest issue with this is the fact that Bryce just holds on to the ball for far too long too. And that's a rookie thing. But also Andy Dalton looked good in the game that he played. Like, that's my issue. Like,
I mean, Andy Dalton's a fucking 12-year veteran.
and I agree exactly.
How many good games are you gonna? You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna get a
No. And I'm not saying that
that,
Bryce needs to be great, but I am saying that Bryce hasn't been good, and a lot of this can fall on him as well. So he's a rookie, and I know for a fact he's going to learn because
I think that was just sorry to interrupt you. I just think that was what we thought Bryce was though coming in. I mean, I was probably higher on Bryce than the consensus. I mean, he was the consensus. He was literally the number 1 pick, so I don't think I was that much higher than everyone else. But I mean, Bryce is the type of dude who elevates a great team, but he's not really going to elevate a dog shit team. Like CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson, they have the potential to elevate dog shit, but just strictly based off their physical tools. You know what I mean? Bryce Young is going to need protection because of how small he is, and he's not, the greatest at evading pressure. Bryce Young's going to need protection. Bryce Young's going to need receivers who can make a play.
Yeah.
I mean, any quarterback's going to need those stuff, but Bryce Young isn't, how do I word this? Bryce Young's more of a ceiling raiser to me than a floor raiser.
I'm going to be honest.
Or it's the other way around.
Is just him all around.
He is him.
Like, he'll be a ceiling raiser. He'll be a floor raiser.
I wasn't saying in comparison to Stroud. I was just saying in general.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, CJ Stroud's him. He's definitely him.
I see what you're saying. Like, the pieces around him need to work for him to also be.
It's every quarterback.
Which is fair. Which is fair because there are plenty of good quarterbacks in the NFL that are also like that.
Right. Like we just talked about him. Jared Goff.
Exactly. Right. We just talked about him. Jared Goff plays like a top 10 quarterback when the things around him are working.
Right. Like, obviously, it's all hypothetical, but I mean, you were the one who was vouching for this for so long. But like, I have not a doubt in my mind that Bryce Young would succeed in the Lions offense. You know what I mean?
I completely agree.
Right.
I'm not concerned about Bryce. Would I have liked him to be better off the rip? Obviously, like he hasn't looked great, but it's going to be a process. And the Panthers had to have known it was going to be a process, giving up the draft capital they gave up to get Bryce. You know what I mean? Because when you give up that type of draft capital, all it does is elongate the process.
Mm.
So it's gonna be a little while for them.
Yeah,
it will be. I think
I feel more bad for Bryce than concerned about his play. I feel more bad that this is a situation he had to go to. When you look at the Texans, who, again, we thought the Texans situation was ass, but the Texans might be having the best rebuild in all of the NFL right now.
I actually said it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I said coming into the season that they were going to be better than people thought they were going to be.
Yeah, those dudes are balling, and they're only going to get better. So
it's terrifying.
Like, when you compare the situations, like the Texans, as of right now, the Texans are just in so much of a better spot than the Panthers. And obviously, I'm not saying that Bryce would be better in that situation. Like, CJ Stroud is doing the part and doing that. You have to throw the ball and produce, do the production. And CJ Stroud's doing that. But it's kind of like, based on how everything else is going around the two players, like, it's kind of obvious that CJ Stroud is succeeding more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but we do have to look at it as coming into the season, what were our thoughts on the Texans? We thought they had no weapons.
Yeah.
We thought they had a bad offensive line. And we figured that it would be a similar situation to what Bryce Young is in right now. We thought that Bryce was going to be in the better situation than CJ Stroud coming in.
I mean, I personally thought both of them boys were us.
Nico Collins has turned into
a
legit one.
Nico Collins.
Tank Dell is balling when given the opportunity and healthy. And then you have a safety blanket in Dalton Schultz. I mean, the run game, bro, it hasn't been existent. And CJ Stroud is still succeeding the way he is. I don't know if I've ever seen this type of performance from a rookie quarterback. He's gone 5 games and hasn't thrown a pick yet. Unless he's going to get picked off in this one.
You know who else did that, though? Dak.
Did he really?
He's got the most either throws or games or something like that without an interception.
Throws
for a rookie. The other one was Dak.
But CJ beat that, and he's still going. I'm pretty sure.
Stroud's a monster.
So yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. The dude is on another planet right now.
But
Bryce
it wasn't enough.
Bryce
CJ could be on another planet, but it wasn't enough against the Dirty Birds and Desmond Ritter. Come on. We're here.
Listen, Ritter had his best game. I mean,
he had a fucking masterclass.
It's crazy that if they throw the ball to their mutant of a tight end, good things happen.
Yeah. Wow, what a surprise. Kyle Pitts, 11 targets. What a surprise. Drake London, 9 targets, and Desmond Ritter had the best game of his fucking career. So I need to say that was like watching a completely different player than the weeks past. And look, I'm going to say this was the anomaly. This is not going to happen again. Desmond Ritter will not have a game like this. And I hope he makes me look stupid because I'd love to see that. But
I mean, isn't that nuts? All the praise we're giving CJ Stroud and Desmond Ritter outplayed him.
Outplayed the shit out of him.
Yes, like clearly outplayed him. Yeah. Not a knock on CJ Stroud, just a testament to how great Desmond Ritter was in this game. I mean, that's my fucking boy. I mean, you know, you want to talk about resilience. Like, your back's against the wall. Everyone was calling for you to be benched. Yeah. That's the type of shit that makes a dude deactivate his Twitter. What did Desmond Ritter come out there and do? He came out there and balled the fuck out. I mean, I'm looking at their RSB DM right now, and this is just so uncharacteristic of the Falcons. All of the rushing, the early rushing, the late rushing is all in the purple, negative EPA per play, and all of the passing is in the green. That's so uncharacteristic of the Falcons. And that's just a great sign for them going forward. I mean, this was definitely a must-have win after the embarrassment in London last weekend. And like I said and I predicted, I mean, this defense is legit. The Falcons defense is like that. The pass rush is obviously a little bit questionable, but against the run, they're elite, and the secondary is fucking elite. Jesse Bates is a dog. And if you're going to get just half of this from Desmond Ritter, you don't even have to do this every week. But if you're going to get half of this, like, this is a playoff team.
Yeah.
It's a playoff team. Shout out to Kyle Pitts. He needed a game like this, man. Needed it. I picked him up off the waivers in my 10-man league.
I'm scared of Pitts. I really am. Because, like, I don't know if this was just a 1-week mirage where, like, this is it. We're not going to see this happen again. Or if Desmond Ritter is figuring out how to be an NFL quarterback. I mean, we expected this game to be a game where the run game absolutely demolished. Like, I thought Bijan was going to have 150. I thought Tyler Algier was going to get work and have like 70, 80 yards. And then the complete opposite happened. And I wonder if that is because the Texans game planned so hard against the run in this one.
Probably.
That would make sense. I would predict that was the case. But even then, Desmond Ritter had to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, and that's probably every team's game plan going against the Falcons anyway. It's not like this is anything they haven't faced before. I mean, the main thing, like you said, was they got the playmakers the ball. And that's just going to be big for them. And then why I have been so inclined to appreciate the Falcons rebuild is because they've been so aggressive in terms of everything with the rebuild. In this free agency, they went out and got Jesse Bates. They went out and got David Onyemata, who have been huge for their defense. In the draft, they doubled down on their strength and went and got a guy like Bijan Robinson. And then, you know, the other day, they go and trade for Van Jefferson. And Van Jefferson's not, you know, an all-pro wide receiver. But at least Van Jefferson could stretch the defense, which this team lacks.
That's all he does.
Right. No, I'm not saying Van Jefferson is going to change much, but at least he's somewhat of a threat to beat you over the top. And all that's going to do is keep helping Drake London and keep helping Kyle Pitts. I'd rather have Van Jefferson, you know, as my deep threat trying to keep the defense honest going deep than fucking Mackinton Hollins.
Yeah, I mean, Van just runs the cardio routes.
Right.
He don't get the ball, but he runs the cardio routes.
The same thing that Jameson Williams is going to do for the
Lions. Exactly.
Yeah. He's gonna run 50 yards down the field, and Ritter's gonna take the shot at one point, and he's gonna drop it, but he'll be down there. He'll be down there.
Exactly. Exactly.
Shout out to my boy Desmond Ritter, bro.
Yo, that
Against the wall.
one-handed catch that Bijan had where he threw the ball behind his that's not human, bro. Like, how do you do that in
He's
a
really
football
not
game?
Juke as he's corralling it.
Yeah, like does this guy not have ACLs? I don't understand.
What's
how
the
he
ability in
plays.
Madden where you automatically break the first
one
tackle?
free? Yeah,
First one free.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson has that shit on. The first tackler never gets him. Never ever.
Keep him healthy, please. Keep him healthy, please,
That's my
God.
fucking
Please.
guy, man.
Please.
I need the jersey, but I just don't know which Falcons jersey to get. I love all of them so much, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like it has to be Bijan, but the Jesse
yeah.
Bates jersey would go dumb.
You know, it's like it's one thing when like not only are they just really good football players, but when they have that aura about them. Like Bijan has that aura about him where it's like
definitely has that aura.
His name is Bijan Robinson. What else was he gonna do? He's gonna be an accountant.
He's yes. If he was bad, that would have been waste of a name. Waste of a name.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so shout out the Falcons, man. Shout out Desmond Ritter. Let me see this again. Do this again. And then I'll start to feel some type of way about them. So, but yeah. All right. One other team that I definitely wanted to cover. Oh, it's getting ugly. It's getting real ugly. Up in Foxborough, where Bill is looking at that Tom Brady shrine in the corner of his room and wishing he never drove him away. Because, goddamn, this team might be the worst in the NFL. It's a miracle that they even have a win. Thank you, New York Jets.
It would be the Jets that Belichick gets his own. Like, he might not win another game all season, but he's got to beat the Jets once. That's it.
Absolutely. I don't think I don't even know how to feel. Like 34-0.
So one thing I want to say is Stephen A. I actually saw a clip of Stephen A. talking about the Patriots, and I think he made a good point. He said, if you're Robert Kraft, like obviously you're not going to just go and fire Bill Belichick yet right now because of all he's done for you. But as far as him like being the GM, the coach, that's gotta stop. This
yes.
Like as far as him bringing in personnel, he can't do that anymore. And even like signing coordinators when he had Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, what was he thinking? But people are hesitant to question him because of all the success he's had in his career. But I kind of agree that he should just focus on coaching.
You know, in any sport, it's been shown you can't do both. You just can't do both. It's too much to put on somebody. And it's not working. Like there's certain things that Belichick has shown he's not good at scouting, and that's receivers especially. Yeah. So look, I don't know what you do. I think you do have to strip that power from him and give full power to a proper GM. Because they need a full teardown. You need to, after the season, go separate ways with Bill Belichick, but make sure it's out in the public that it was mutual. Even though it may not be mutual, you tell the public we are mutually parting ways. That is what happens next for this Patriots team because Bill should not have to sit through a rebuild. And God damn it, if he finishes his career as a defense coordinator, so be it. Finish it the way you started it, Bill. Get out of New England, please, because you don't know how to scout offensive talent. You shouldn't be a GM anymore. And God damn it, Mac Jones ain't the guy to be running an offense by himself pretty much. So I thought it would be better with Bill O'Brien, but there's just no talent on this team. There's none on the offensive side of the ball. So got to do something. Tear it down. It's time.
The quarterback's not helping them.
No.
He sucks.
Mac has been bad.
He has thrown – what did I put down? He has 6 turnovers in their last 3 games, and 3 of them have been returned for touchdowns. Like, that's bad.
That's Matt Schaub type shit. Bill O'Brien might be used to that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say. I'm not surprised. I thought the Patriots were going to be ass. I know Sweezy was like, nah, bro. The Patriots, bro. I'm a big Patriots fan. Mac Jones is good. Fuck you, Sweezy. Fuck you. They suck. And the injuries on defense are obviously hurting them, but this offense has no direction. I remember my exact words were, it's going to be tough toenails for the Patriots offense this season when we did the AFC East preview, and it's going to continue to be tough toenails for the Patriots offense this season. They got fucking shut out. They got shut out.
They might as well gotten shut out the last week too.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
And
bad.
you would think like they get beat that bad on the road, that especially the Patriots of all teams come back to Foxborough, Gillette, whatever, and have some life. But you let the Saints shut you out. Saints are
Saints defense is really good.
Yeah,
No, Saints defense is legit. Don't get, my point is they're not the 49ers or
Yeah, it's rough, man. I don't know what's next for them. I don't know. They gotta tear it all down, bro. Go get Drake May. Go get my boy.
I don't even know what to take away from the Saints side of things either, because
they didn't look good. Their defense looked good, but they looked fucking mid.
Their offense has been trash this whole season.
Yeah.
Derek Carr's greasing our boy, bro.
What happened?
Derek Carr's greasing our boy, bro. Fucking Chris Olave. He's doing him dirty, bro.
I will say it doesn't help that he got hurt. But Jameis Winston should have been playing the last 2 weeks then. I have nothing to take away from this team. Like, not in the slightest. I need to see you go up against a good team. I need to see this offense get going just a slight bit, because I think nothing of this team at the current moment. Like, I honestly think they're as middle of the pack as a team could possibly get.
I agree. I mean, their next few games are Houston, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, and Minnesota. Like,
they'll lose to Houston.
They could lose those games or they could win them, but like they could win them convincingly. Like you said, just you got to see some more out of them, make them play a competitive game.
Their defense is fully legit, though.
Yeah, their defense is legit, no question.
I question their defense, but so many guys have stepped up coming into the season. Like, there have been multiple dudes who have just stepped in and played unlike I could have even ever predicted. Carl Granderson, namely, just got a bag. I said Isaac Yiadom before because he's had a phenomenal season so far. I mean, the guys that you expect, Demario Davis, what's his name? Marshawn Lattimore. Of course, you have Tyrann Mathieu. Like, these are all guys you expect to be great. Those are the dudes you expect. And then you're getting guys that nobody saw coming, all of a sudden playing completely out of their mind. And now here you go. It's the makings of a great defense. So I look, this defense could take you so far, but this offense better get going soon. It's that simple. This offense better figure it out.
Have to. That's why you trade for Derek Carr.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So figure it out, New Orleans and Patriots.
Godspeed.
Yeah.
Godspeed.
Godspeed, man. It's gonna be a rough season for y'all. A lot of these other games, just quick fire thoughts.
I don't want to do quick fire for this one. There's one more game we have to cover in depth. The Steelers-Ravens. I think we should cover in depth.
Oh, man.
I think that's a game worthy of covering in depth. It might not be a long cover in depth, but I think it's one that
I agree.
Fire. The Steelers beat the Ravens 17-10 on a last-minute miracle touchdown to George Pickens that had Matt Canada in shambles. Matt Canada was not
That is
happy.
so funny, bro.
Crazy, bro.
Everyone behind him is going, yeah, and he's just, that wasn't my play. I called it HB dive up the middle.
Kenny Pickett's a better OC than Matt Canada.
I think I might be a better OC than Matt Canada, but yeah.
If you know how to call coach suggestions in Madden, you're a better OC than Matt Canada.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Steelers are the flukiest 3-2 team I've ever seen in my life.
100%.
It's almost like that year when they started undefeated for a minute and everyone knew they were a fluke too.
They were like 8-0 or something.
Yeah,
right?
This might be even more fluky. This 3-2. They fucking blow. They suck.
How fluky does a 3-2 get? and it's just
Like,
it's the Steelers. Like,
This.
yeah, they should not.
Not
Yeah,
like
they're bad.
I don't even know. Kenny Pickett isn't really good, but I want to start with the Ravens. I mean, Lamar, the box score doesn't look good. 22 for 38, 236 yards, a 65 passer rating. That's not good. But the receivers, man, I mean, what was
my
it?
God.
9 drops in this game. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just hard. And some of them were touchdowns.
They left 170 yards on the board.
Yeah.
Lamar would have over 400 in this game.
Yeah, it's just so hard to win a game like that. And then you have fucking Stephen A coming out saying that the Ravens made a mistake paying Lamar Jackson. Like, come on, bro. Shut up. I get it. He had 2 turnovers, two costly backbreaking
Bad
turnovers.
yeah.
But
Blaming it on that.
you wouldn't be in that position if
It would have been a blowout.
Yeah, would have been a blowout. I mean, they got to figure. And I see a lot of people too, like especially Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp's been big on this that, oh, I don't see any difference between the Greg Roman offense and the Todd Monken offense. Bro doesn't fucking watch the games. Bro doesn't watch the games.
Yep.
I mean, Lamar passed the ball 38 times. The passing scheme looks good. They're scheming guys open. They're just dropping the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what we thought was going to be an improved receiving cast.
I mean, yeah. And I definitely fell victim to that too. I was so skeptical of it at first, but just seeing how everyone consensusly was on the Ravens and them improving this receiver cast. So like I hopped on the bandwagon, but what the fuck did we expect? Like it's a rookie Zay Flowers, it's a corpse of Odell Beckham. Fucking Rashad Bateman's never been good. Like
God, Bateman sucks.
Like
yeah,
why?
he's bad,
Like
dude.
looking back on it now, like we were fools. Like, and I think they'll get better as the season goes on. And I still think
Right.
the Ravens have a real shot of making a deep run. Like I'm still definitely all in on the Ravens, but I feel like this was just bound to happen. Like this
I
was just
picked them to win the Super Bowl.
yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, I'm sticking with it.
Yeah,
There's still the potential.
they have the juice, bro. They have the juice. They really do. The defense is
Their
balling.
defense is legit. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, so good.
Yeah, shout out to Kyle Hamilton, fucking
Yeah.
dog.
Roquan Smith is.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Awesome.
another one of those
He's
guys,
awesome.
best linebacker in football, arguably. Yeah.
No.
So before that Pickens
Him,
touchdown,
Fred
the
Warner, and
Ravens.
Matt Milano.
Yeah. Before that Pickens touchdown, the Ravens hadn't allowed a touchdown in 9 straight quarters.
Wow,
That's crazy.
that is crazy.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, look, you catch those balls, it's a blowout. It's a blowout. It's not even a close game. So, like, it's tough. I think they'll be fine. I expect that stuff to get cleaned up. Mark Andrews had an uncharacteristic drop because it's Mark Andrews. I expect him to be just fine. I expect Zay, especially as a rookie, he's going to only get better as the season progresses.
Yeah, this was a rough one for him.
It was absolutely a rough one. He dropped a wide open bomb touchdown. Like,
Yeah. He still hit his over though on Thrive Fantasy.
yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. We're balling, by the way.
Yeah, we'll do that.
But what? Go ahead, Tom.
What was I gonna say? Zay Flowers, I saw something that his actual whatever fantasy points he had was 12, and his like actual fantasy production could have been 34 points.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Just unreal.
Yeah, it was not a fun one.
Yeah, and shout out to the Steelers defense. Shout out to TJ Watt for being a fucking god.
And shout out to Kenny Pickett for being the new offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say for the Steelers. I saw a couple things about possibly getting Kirk. Do you think they'd be in on Kirk?
I actually had this conversation with Lav a couple weeks ago, funny enough. I texted Lav and I said, Kenny Pickett for Kirk Cousins, who says no? And I'll pose that to you guys. Kenny Pickett for Kirk Cousins, who's saying no in this scenario?
I just think if Matt Cannon is there, it's just going to limit them. But Kirk with Pickens and Deontay when he gets back,
He's back this week apparently.
Is definitely elevating his offense
upgrade,
way
yeah.
more than Kenny Pickett is.
I don't
And even if it is just for the rest, I don't think so either.
He's
but
not that bad, but Kirk Cousins is top.
He's not that good either.
Top 12, yeah.
But also, like the AFC North isn't as crazy as we thought it would be. Like
Yeah,
if
it's
they
wide
get Kirk
open.
Cousins, they could totally win the division.
The problem with trading for Kirk Cousins is you're not just trading for Kirk Cousins, you're trading for him to then have to pay him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Especially if you're giving up Kenny Pickett, you know, in the Steelers situation.
Yeah.
Like, you can't trade for Kirk Cousins and then have him walk in free agency because then you're fucked. Then you got Mason Rudolph going out there. And that's
so who says no?
It's not going to get it done.
I think the Steelers would say no.
Yeah, I think
they just got to rock it out with Kenny Pickett for now.
And do you think the Vikings would say yes?
I mean, they don't have any reason to say no.
If they get that draft compensation, they're saying to themselves that Kirk could possibly walk after this season. Or Kirk
I mean, why would they? Why would they say no?
So would you rather take a Kenny Pickett, or would you rather have a 3rd round pick?
I'd rather have a pick. They're
going to suck this year
because they could draft this quarterback class is deep, so you could draft a quarterback, and I'd rather have a quarterback on a full rookie contract than Kenny Pickett 2 years into his rookie contract, who also hasn't proven too much, who hasn't proven he's a franchise guy yet.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm
and to the Steelers, like, as far as they see it, they're 3-2. Like, that's all they really care about. The problems they need to address is
all they need to do is go 8-1.
Yeah.
Keep Mike Tomlin at 500 or better.
That's all Tomlin's trying to do.
So that's all they're trying to do. But yeah, that's it for the Steelers. Hopefully they figure it out as the season progresses. This defense is top tier. It's very good. The pass rush is insane. That offense just got to figure it out. So, all right, couple quick fire games now. Summarize real quick what you think of the Colts and the Titans.
Prayers to Anthony Richardson. That's my summary of that one. Shout out to Gardner Minshew for fucking getting the job done, man. 11 for 14, 155 yards. Didn't turn the ball over.
Best backup in the NFL.
Yeah. Titans better.
Yeah, my takeaway is pretty much the same thing. Like Anthony Richardson, they just got to learn how to use him. He's got to learn how to slide a little bit. But he's a rookie. He's going to get it together. Hopefully, he can stay healthy.
Exactly.
Titans, they throw the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. I think that'll just help you out a ton.
He had a crazy game finally.
Yeah, I think this is a good sign for them that he had a good game, because I've been very adamant about this, that I'm not concerned about Derrick Henry in the slightest. I know this wasn't a great game, but it's the king. He gets better as the weather gets colder.
Right.
So I'm not worried about Derrick Henry in the slightest, but if you could get D-Hop going, then this team becomes dangerous.
The last thing I'll say is their red zone percentage is 35.29, which is tied for 29th in the NFL. So that's the main reason. Like, throw the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. That's my biggest takeaway for the Titans.
Yeah. I also just want to bring up one conversation piece. Jonathan Taylor got extended, which was big. But we forgot to realize that they have a running back on their roster right now that's actually
balling
better than Jonathan Taylor. So Zach Moss, 23, 165, and 2 tuds. So much for paying running backs. That argument might keep dying, even though you paid him anyway.
It's so interesting how they held out all this time. They got Zach Moss, who is killing it, and now they decide to pay him.
It really is so interesting, though. Like, what is the thought process?
Yeah.
What is the thought process? And I'm the pay your running backs guy. I'm confused. Like, I just not even just like from a football perspective of don't pay your running backs, but just from a human perspective, the relationship seemed beyond repairable.
Yes,
you have a replacement who's balling out. You're winning football games, which no one expected you to win. So what? Like, why now? It really makes no sense. Shout out to JT for getting that bag, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. Never gonna knock a dude for getting that bag, but it's just so strange. So strange. The timing of it is so weird.
And all the shit that what's his name was saying, Jim Irsay, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the relationship was
exactly
beyond repair. It's so strange. It really is.
You know what? Yeah, I just don't understand.
Like, I feel like we all thought it was a done deal that he was going to get traded once he was off the pup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thought it was 100%. He was gone because especially when Zach Moss was playing the way he was.
Yeah.
Shout out to your guy, Chris. This is the last thing I'll say about the Colts. Josh Downs, another big game.
Boy, I tried to tell everyone, man. I really did.
He's a big time pickup in fantasy right now.
It's my guy. Have him in every league, bro. Have him in every league. That's my guy.
Especially in PPR leagues. Yeah,
told everyone, bro. Go watch the tape. I told everyone that's the last round flyer this year. You need him. Nah, he's special though. He's a special route runner.
Really good player. Typical slot receiver is exactly what he is. So.
And he hit his star fantasy over.
Facts. All right. Let's see. I don't want to talk about my Giants. One word summary. Bad.
Tua, bro. What the fuck are we doing, Tua?
Yeah, man.
We got out of there with the win, but what the fuck are we doing, bro? I was at work and I was, bro, I had a fucking parlay, dude. I had the Dolphins spread. I had Waddle first time touchdown and I had Waddle two touchdowns. He scored the first one. And then they got down there to the red zone. I said to Joe Cruz, look, Joe Cruz, Jalen Waddle's about to get his second one. And they threw it to Jalen Waddle, and it was an incompletion. And then the very next play, I said to Joe, I'm like, Joe, Tua's going to fucking force this ball to Waddle, and it's going to get picked off. I said it to him. Tua forced the ball to Waddle into triple coverage, and that shit got picked off.
102 yards.
And I know that's Tua's thing, and like on the surface, you're going to say, oh my God, that's terrible. How the fuck are you throwing a pick six? You fucking blow. Tua's the worst, not an MVP candidate, blah, 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 blah. But that is Tua's thing, is making these quick-ass reads.
Yeah.
Had that gotten through and been a touchdown, oh my God, Tua's accuracy is so good. He's such an accurate thrower of the ball. The time to throw is elite. Like, that would have been the narrative. So I'm not mad at it, but it was just so obvious that wasn't the read.
Yeah.
Especially because you just threw to him. You know what I'm saying? You just threw to him. So they know you're looking for him. Waddle was the target in the red zone. Every time the Dolphins got down there and passed in the red zone, he was throwing to Waddle every time.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to the run game for the Dolphins. Shout out to Devon Achane. Hopefully he gets fucking healthy, my boy.
My start of the week.
Yeah.
Devon Achane, I think, averages 105 yards per carry.
He's ridiculous. Devon Achane is unreal. He's actually averaging 12.1 yards per carry on 38 carries.
It's really not normal.
It's unbelievable. I wrote for the Dolphins, I wrote speed kills. They just have so much. They have all the speed, like literally the fastest players in the NFL. And I thought I just deleted my notes because I just hit a new note on the bottom. Almost cried. The other thing is, Tua had 302 passing yards, and it was, 233 of them came after the catch.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And it speaks to the Dolphins, but it also speaks to how bad the Giants are at tackling and stopping plays. It's so bad. I don't even really want to talk about
shaken up in
this.
this.
It's just horrible.
Tyreek got hurt because he was on the sideline at multiple points in this game.
Still at a fucking game. They fined him $100K for not wearing socks again.
Crazy. What happened?
They fined him $100K this time for not wearing socks.
I don't understand why you're getting fined for doing that.
I don't know. But the first one was like a few thousand, and then according to him, what I saw, they said $100K for this time. So
wasn't he just like, I don't got time to put socks on? Like that's all he said.
He's so
funny,
a
character, man.
Yeah.
He's so funny. My Giants suck. Well, our Giants, Tom, we suck.
Horrible.
Here we go, Caleb, here we come.
We'll take it. Take something.
I want you guys to get Drake May, so then we could watch the divisional battle of Sam Howell versus Drake May for the next 20 years of our lives.
You know,
that would be sick.
If we draft Drake May with this offensive line, he's not going to live another 20 years. So.
I'm going to be honest. I do have a question to pose. Because in my personal opinion, I love Drake May. I think he's a great player and all that. But in my personal opinion, if you don't end up with one, I say trade the pick. Personally, like
trade the pick for what?
For what? Yeah.
Say you get an offer, because there will be teams that call up and try to trade up to get a guy like Drake May or whoever the hell it's going to be. If Shedeur keeps balling, whatever, if he jumps to the top of the draft, whoever it is, Quinn Ewers, whoever. It's a great quarterback class. If you end up with pick number 2, people are calling for Drake May because Drake May is another guy that in most drafts will probably go number 1. So
you trade down a couple spots.
If you get offered 2 for like a trade down to like 7, 8, and you get a future first round pick, and you get like 2 seconds and another third or something like that, you'd be crazy to pass that up with the team.
Yeah.
I think it's Caleb or bust for the Giants. If you don't end up with Caleb, you trade back. You figure it out with Danny, and you keep trading back till you get that number, and then you trade up in 2026 to get that number 1 overall pick. And guess who that's going to be? You fulfill the goddamn prophecy is what you do. And you go get Arch Manning is what you go and do. So I think you just do everything you can. It's Caleb or you punt on the quarterback position and keep Danny in there, hopefully with a better supporting cast, which I pray to God they keep this man somewhat healthy and not ruin this man's life at this point.
Yeah, that's very concerning that it's a neck injury.
Another neck injury. This is the second time now.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned for Daniel Jones. Like,
if he, if there's any questions about if he's good to go or not, let him sit, man. Let him sit.
There's no reason to play the man.
Life is too important.
None at all. So
I've been, obviously, Matt, you too. We've been big like Daniel Jones supporters, and it was the moment that reality hit me was when Daniel Jones came out of the game, and then Tyrod Taylor came in and was doing the exact same fucking thing that Daniel Jones was doing. And I was like, all right. Yeah. It's just like, but yeah, from an execution standpoint, like it's just, it doesn't matter who you get back there. If you can't protect them and they have no one to throw the ball to, like that's why I'm not a big fan of the argument of like system quarterbacks versus, oh shit, this guy's just in a good situation. Very few quarterbacks are going to be able to make something out of nothing. So no matter who you get, you got to get the right situation around them. As far as trading down, I don't disagree. I think, but I'm also a big proponent of if you think that's your franchise guy, you got to grab him. Like you can't pass up on a guy you think is a franchise quarterback. So,
agreed.
But I'm not against either or.
Yeah. I mean, the Dolphins pass rush had a field day. Andrew Van Ginkel had 8 pressures. Christian Wilkins had 7. Bradley Chubb had 6. Like, yikes.
Can't do anything about it anymore. You just can't. So we're just.
I mean, when you give up 11 sacks to the Seahawks, shout out the Seahawks. They're good. They're good defense, but 11 sacks, and then 7 the next week to the like. What are they doing out there?
Yeah,
Evan Neal better learn to flip hamburgers. That's all I'm saying,
bro. I'm not even gonna get into that. He better learn how to fucking play guard. Is what he better.
Yeah, that's what I really think.
He's not playing tackle.
Move him to guard.
Nope, move his ass to guard. Give him a shot. See what happens. Do not make the same mistake you made with Eric Flowers.
Yeah.
Even though he then went and had 1 good season, and that was it.
Yeah, pretty much in Washington.
But do not make that same mistake. Move Evan Neal to guard. Try to find a successful plan for this man. And if not, cut his ass because fuck him and have him go fucking flip burgers. But anyways, all right. Enough of the Giants. I'm miserable. I don't want to talk about my fucking team anymore. Next up, quick fire thoughts on a team that, is in our division and just dominates everybody. So why not talk about them real quick? The Eagles beat the Rams 23-14. Quick fire thoughts on both sides. I'd say the Eagles, as I said earlier, 5-0 and don't look anywhere near what they should. Dallas Goedert had a big game. Finally, they were, giving him some depth of target on this. And then honestly, it was nice to see Puka and Cooper Kupp playing together, I will say. And it works. Puka played 100% of the snaps in this one. People were fearful that Cooper Kupp would come back and bite a lot into what Puka was doing, and they just worked together and ran the same fucking routes pretty much every single time.
Shout out to Puka, bro. Help me hit a banger of a parlay, bro. Help me hit a banger. I hit Puka anytime touchdown, Kelsey anytime touchdown, Breece Hall anytime touchdown, and Jamar Chase anytime touchdown. Banger. 25 for like 650.
Let's go.
Yeah, yo. I had the Sunday Funday profit boost on. And you know what I did, bro? I pulled that shit all out and deleted the FanDuel app. Pulled it all out.
Smart
I'm different,
guy.
bro. I'm different.
You have to.
I'm done. Never again.
$600.
Yep.
Smart guy.
Cut my losses and get the fuck out.
My quick notes are kind of the same thing you said about the Eagles. They look really good. They don't look as good as they were last year, and that's just kind of what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that one win where I'm like, yeah, this is the team that went to the Super Bowl last year. They came into the game ranked 24th in red zone efficiency, so the usage of Dallas Goedert is definitely going to up that. They also are 30th in passing touchdowns allowed. Like they allow the second most passing touchdowns in the league. That's a concern. Last thing is out of their bye week, they play Kansas City, Buffalo, San Fran, and Dallas. So
Yikes.
we'll see what we need to see from them. Yeah, it's rough.
That's a crazy schedule.
And they have to play Dallas again at some point after that.
But this is this is perfect. That's exactly what I want to see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my point. It's like, yeah, we're gonna see what we need to see out of them.
Yeah, for the Eagles, the defense just hasn't been the same. Honestly, the Eagles as a whole, they just haven't been the same this year.
Right.
We know that they're great.
That's what happens when you lose both your coordinators.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
we know they're great, and they're getting by right now just strictly on talent.
Yes.
Yeah.
So eventually everything's going to click for them, and we're going to be like, oh, shit, like the Eagles are fucking scary, and they're going to win the Super Bowl. It'll happen.
And
we'll look at them the same exact way that we look at the 49ers right now.
Jalen Hurts has been not mid, but not as good as last year. He's had these moments of excellence, and then he's had these moments where it's like, come on, Jalen Hurts, like, you're better than that. Same thing with the defense. The secondary is definitely lacking. But, I mean, pass rush is still insane. They're still lead against the run. Shout out to Jalen Carter, who's running away with Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's not really close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not anywhere close, unfortunately. But yeah.
No, but that's Devin Witherspoon. Shut up.
Yeah, I don't want to hear none of that.
God.
He's got to pair up games like that more often. So but yeah, all right. Last couple games. Jets Broncos.
Nothing to say about this one.
I don't have much to say about it either.
Shout out to fucking Bryce Hall. TikTok star by day, football superstar by night.
The corner for the Jets.
Yeah.
The Broncos are just a joke. I mean, they traded picks to get Sean Payton. It's insane.
Yeah. So bad.
They have a lot of doubles, the Jets.
Yeah.
They got the Halls, the Wilsons,
Carters.
the Williams, the Carters.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. That was funny, though. In the Wilson Bowl, fucking Russell Wilson has the chance to have a game-winning drive and fucking fumbles that shit 10 yards backwards. What a loser, bro. That's funny. That was just fucking hilarious. I feel bad for Drew, bro. Shout out to Drew.
Yeah.
Really
he has 11 touchdowns. He has 11 touchdowns so far.
Drew's really going through it, especially because Drew wants them to tank, but I know he really wanted to win this one because it was against the Jets.
Right.
And that's how they went down.
I just want to read something real quick. This is crazy. So Russell Wilson currently has 11 touchdowns and 2 picks on the season, which looks insane on the stat sheet, right? He has a 45.2 QBR so far this season, which is 22nd in the NFL. That's on a scale of 0 to 100. He has a 45.2. So classic case of like he's great on the stat sheet right now, but he's not good.
That's like worse than if he had 11 touchdowns and like 7 or 8 picks. Because he's not throwing the ball to the other team and he's still not helping.
It really feels like to me from watching is he's folded when the team needs him the most. I mean, that was clearly evident in this case. He had a chance for the game-winning drive, but I mean, the season as a whole, the Dolphins game was an absolute wash. There's nothing he could do to stop them from scoring 70, but you go back 2 weeks to that Commanders game. I mean, they had them in the first half, and then their offense completely collapsed. So,
Cratered.
Yeah, it just seems like he just hasn't made the plays when it matters the most, and that's obviously a problem. I mean, I don't put really much blame on him because the defense is the worst in NFL history, but
Shout out Jaleel McLaughlin too.
Yeah,
the undrafted free agent. Shout out to the guy. All right, and then the last 2 games. Here we go. Oh my God, that Monday night game was disgusting. But we'll talk about the Chiefs and the Vikings real quick. not too many takeaways. Mahomes had a solid game. Nothing special from Mahomes. I feel like he's reaching that point in the season where he's like getting against his mechanics again. Like, I feel like this is an every season thing with Mahomes where like he has that a few game stretch where he's not good. Not especially good, I should say.
Yeah, no, we're like a week or two away from him going ballistic for like 4 straight weeks.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's coming.
And running away with the MVP. Sorry.
That's coming very soon. But this is the stretch right now where he's like, he's not playing so great. And then all of a sudden, we're going to have this 380, 5-touchdown game out of Mahomes where it's like, okay, yep, he's still good. Yeah. He's still great.
Yeah, my big takeaway from this game is just that the injuries fucking suck, man. It's just a case of unfortunate events. I think Travis Kelce's going to be good. I'm pretty sure he was a go at practice. Obviously, he finished the game. So, but I mean, Jetta's placed on IR. That's just tough, man. Obviously, the Vikings, we didn't really have many real expectations for them anyway. But Jetta's is a fun guy to watch. So, sucks. Hopefully, he gets healthy.
Jordan Addison, here's your chance. Show why they drafted you so high. Yeah. But yeah, outside of that, Chiefs are still going to chief. So they just win.
They'll find a way.
They just find a way. Exactly. And the defense, especially now.
Bro took off his helmet and the ref said, yeah, can you just put that back on for me?
That was crazy. That was insane.
Yeah.
Instead of throwing the flag, bro goes, you need to put that back on. What? Oh, my God. Special treatment for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's what they get. Special treatment. All right. And then the last game, I really have nothing to say.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's how bad this was.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need, I just, my thing is, whoever is scheduling primetime, I'm never going to say needs to be fired because that's like an extreme reaction. They need to be demoted. They get somebody else in there. These primetime games, it feels like past couple of seasons just let you down.
I'm going to be honest.
Who looked at the
Did you just mute Tom? You're muted. Did you just unplug your mic?
No, I literally just like clicked the mute button. I don't even know how that happened. Okay. But what I was saying is, who looked at like the preseason power rankings and was like, "Yeah, Packers Raiders, that needs to be a Monday night game." Like,
no Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Garoppolo, let's go.
Jimmy Garoppolo versus Jordan Love. Yep, book it.
Oh my God! Yeah, I guess I could see the narrative. Devontae Adams.
Versus yeah.
But wow, Jordan Love exposed for multiple weeks in a row now.
Yeah.
I was trying to say it. I was trying to tell everybody through the first few weeks it was a fucking fluke. It was one after the catch. It was a lot of touchdown regression that was bound to come. And then here you go. He played like shit. Yeah. And the Raiders tried to give them every opportunity to win the game. So, yeah.
It was for a guy that loves to throw the ball deep, he can't throw the ball deep. He sucks at it.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Also, they need Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
That's
AJ Dillon had a fine game though.
Yeah. He was fine, but they need Aaron Jones, I think. As far as the Raiders, they play the Pats and Bears in their next 2 games, so they could spark a win streak, but what are they really going to do, you know?
Yeah, 77 of Jordan Love's 182 yards came on one play. So.
Oh, my God.
And it was the Christian Watson play.
Yeah.
Christian Watson caught what should have been a walk-in touchdown.
Yeah, he got yanked down, which was like a smart play, like take the penalty instead of giving
Not
a
even
touchdown.
that.
But,
just if you led the receiver.
Oh, yeah.
He was gone.
Yeah.
So Jordan Love's just bad at football. I'm sorry. He is.
Yeah.
He's not good. I'm not loving what I'm seeing. I'm sorry.
I'm not Jordaning what I'm seeing. Oh, wait, no, that's not it.
But yeah, no, this game was a shit show. I hated watching it. I had a parlay on it. That's the only thing that keeps me involved with some of these games.
Right.
And then it didn't hit.
That's what I got to start doing. Yeah, me and Pete made a parlay, and it was, I think, 4 legs, and none of them even came close. It was bad.
God. But yeah, that is NFL Week 5.
Yeah.
So, there we go.
It was NFL Week 5. All right. NFL MVP ladder post week 5. Who we got?
Go ahead, Tom. Start us off.
I'm going first.
Go from
Okay.
3 to 1.
3-1. Okay. So at 3, I currently have Josh Allen. I know we expressed some concerns with the Bills, but at the end of the day, MVP is also a lot to do with what you put up, what you put in the box score and all, and Josh Allen's going to deliver there. At 2, I have Patty Mahomes. If it was just like if I had to place a bet on who would win the MVP right now, rest of season, I'd probably put Mahomes at 1. But he's going to pick it up, like we just talked about it. So, and at number 1, of course, Brock Purdy with the Glock 30. He is just again, the MVP is about numbers and the narrative. The last pick in the draft coming out and winning an MVP. I mean, could you imagine? That's something everyone wants to see. So,
yeah. So my number 3 is Josh Allen. Like you said, he has the box score numbers. This week wasn't the greatest, but overall, he has to be in there. Number 2, I still have my guy, my ride or die, Tua Tagovailoa. Wasn't the best this week, but it was okay to keep him in there. And then number 1, it's obvious. It's Brock Purdy right now. He's running away with it.
Yeah. For me, I'm gonna go. Josh Allen at 3. Unfortunately, as much as I had to think about it, I'm gonna leave Mahomes off the list. I think Tua's first 3 games were so good that I still have to keep him in there, even though he's had 2 rough ones after that. Still got the win this week. It's a 4-1 football team, and that's the most important stat for quarterbacks. So I'm going to keep Tua at 2. And it's so obvious. Mr. Irrelevant, baby. Shout out to you. Brock Purdy. Man, I hope you win the MVP. That'd be the coolest fucking thing ever.
I hope he does, man.
So yeah, Brock is my number 1, and it's so tough. I'm between. God bless. I was between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and I didn't know who to pick. But I think Josh just has the better box score right now, as you guys said. So got to stick with that. But
all right, NFL power rankings post week 5. I'll go first for this one.
Go first, go ahead.
So my number 5, it might come as a shock, but they moved me. And I know it was against a bad football team, but overall this season they're moving me. I'm putting the Detroit Lions in there at number 5. My number 4, I'm going to put the Kansas City Chiefs at number 4. They're showing they could win football games even if Patrick Mahomes isn't playing like Superman. The defense has been great this year. The run game's been better. My number 3 through 1 is still the same as it was last week. I still have the Dolphins at number 3, the Niners and the Eagles at number 2, and the Niners at number 1.
okay, so for me, I have to put at number 5. They got beat so bad last week that I can't get it out of my head, but I have them above the Buffalo Bills because they lost this week. I have the Miami Dolphins at number 5. At number 4, as you said, Chris, they moved me a ton, and they haven't had a bad loss, and they've beat some good teams this season as well. I'm going to have the Detroit Lions at number 4. At number 3, I'm having the Kansas City Chiefs. As we said before, they just always find a way to win. Even if Mahomes isn't elite, they will find a way to win. At number 2, Philadelphia Eagles, and they haven't even hit their stride yet. And number 1, it's so clear and obvious. We spent 25 minutes talking about just how damn good this football team was, and that is the San Francisco 49ers.
So it's interesting. All right. So I have at number 5, I have the Buffalo Bills. I know it might be a little inconsistent that I put Josh Allen as 3rd MVP, but them as the 5th best team. But the Bills, the only thing I could see is like the defensive injuries might lead to some losses there. But
yeah, they played a part in me not putting them in my top 5.
Yeah. At number 4, it's interesting because I have the Eagles at number 4. You put them at number 2 because you haven't. I haven't seen dominating win. You know, I was saying I think you might have been off camera or something. One of you might have been off camera or something, but I just haven't seen them dominate. Haven't seen them play like a really good team. So I don't want to put them above those other teams that I know can get it done. At number 3, I have the Dolphins. I know Tua had a bad week and they still won convincingly. Not a bad week, but you know what I mean. 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. If that's a bad week for Tua, then you'll take that all year. And they're eventually going to get Jalen Ramsey back too in that secondary, so they're going to be good. Number 2, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. I feel like you could really put the Chiefs anywhere you want, except for number 1. But they're the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to get it done. As long as Kelsey stays healthy, that would probably be my only concern for them right now. That defense is balling out. Their defense is usually underrated because of how great Mahomes and Andy Reid and Kelsey are.
Especially so now.
Yeah, especially so now. And at number 1, it's a no-brainer. It's the 49ers. They're the best at everything. They do everything better than every team in the NFL. Simple as that.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's just what it is through 5 weeks.
All right.
Before we go.
Okay.
Oh, you have something?
No, I was going to do the usual.
Yeah. Before we go, huge shout out, the biggest shout out to our partners over at Thrive Fantasy. They are the most up-and-coming daily fantasy sports game, and we are currently participating in a contest with Thrive Fantasy. They're calling it Proptober. They have all their partners participating, seeing who's the best, and we are currently in first place.
Who's the best?
Somehow, some way. With all of our shitty ball game bets, we found a way to come out in first place so far in Proptober. So what we need you guys to do, we need you guys to sign up for Thrive Fantasy. We need you to use code BallGamePod, and we need you to deposit some money in there because they're going to give you a deposit match up to $250. And we need you guys to check the board with us and let us know the locks because we need help. We want to win this thing because if we win this thing, the prize is 2 tickets to any NFL or NBA game in your home city. And we're going to give those tickets away if we win this shit.
We will.
So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to do the giveaway, but we're definitely not giving away the tickets to someone who hasn't downloaded Thrive Fantasy and used code BallGamePod. So make sure you do that.
We're also definitely not giving it away to somebody who ain't subscribed, isn't paying attention to some of our ball game stuff. Go follow us on all of our socials, all that stuff. If you do all that and we win this shit, bro, 2 free tickets to an NFL game. Come on. That's easy money.
Come on.
So,
but we need your guys' help because I think we got lucky this week.
No, we did not. We all analyzed that fucking board and we made sure that we picked the locks.
Number 1 is number 1. That's all I say.
We would have been running away with fucking first place too if the Niners didn't smoke the Cowboys. Yes. We had McCaffrey's over on rushing yards, but they yanked him pretty much the whole second half, so he didn't hit the over. We would have been far and away in first place.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, we needed that.
Yeah. Look at what Jordan Mason did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. McCaffrey would have got that shit if he was in the game.
Yeah, it's but they did the right thing.
Yeah.
But all right. Aside from that, by the way, if you guys don't get tickets for free from us, please do be sure to use our app, the app SeatGeek, the best ticketing app on the entire market. Be sure to use code BallGamePod on your first purchase for $20 off. SeatGeek grades each ticket on a scale of 1 to 10, with green being a good deal and red being a bad deal. As I said before, be sure to use code BallGamePod for $20 off your first purchase with SeatGeek. It's about that time. The NFL's ramping up and MLB playoffs are on right now. So go buy some tickets with SeatGeek to some of those games. I know I for sure will be. So, all right, here we go. Guys, who is fantasy who is actually, I fucked it up. Who is your week 6 fantasy football start of the week?
Honestly, I didn't even do my starts and sits of the week. Give me a second.
It's so fine. I'm doing it on the fly as well.
Oh,
my start of the week for fantasy is going to be Dak Prescott. As someone who drafted Dak Prescott, and I have CeeDee Lamb, so I wrote it out, and he's disappointed me. And as a lifetime Cowboys hater, it usually makes me happy to see the Cowboys struggle, but now it doesn't. But against the Chargers, it's got to be the one. It just has to be. It has to be the one where the Cowboys offense needs to be there they need to produce for him. So I'm going with Dak Prescott. Do I do sit too?
No, I'll do my start.
Do that.
Okay.
My start of the week's going to be Josh Jacobs. It's been a rough go for Josh Jacobs so far. I thought he had a pretty solid week against the Packers, probably his best week so far of the season. I don't know what the fantasy numbers say, but he gets to go against the worst team in the NFL, the New England Patriots. And the Raiders are going to spank them, boys, and they're going to run that rock. Josh Jacobs is going for 2+ touchdowns, and he's the start of the week.
All right, my start of the week. I feel like this is an obvious one, but I'll pick it anyway. It's Jordan Addison. Obviously, no Justin Jefferson. Now Jordan Addison gets to step into that role. He has all that draft pedigree behind him. We've already seen he's super explosive. And now he's going to probably get around 8 to 10 targets, and we'll see what he can do with those. So I'm expecting a big week, especially against a defense as bad as the Chicago Bears. I'm expecting potentially 1 or 2 touchdowns. So definitely start Jordan Addison in every possible league if you have him. So, all right. Who is your week 6 fantasy football sit of the week?
Yeah, my sit of the week is going to be Jerome Ford. I just think it's almost always a good idea to bench the guy running against the 49ers. Besides them being an elite defense in every aspect of the game, that also means that the game script isn't going to line up for Jerome Ford to have an impact. He could always score a touchdown and prove me wrong, but if I have Jerome Ford anywhere, I'm sitting him.
I hate to do this. I really do. But is there anyone else real quick? Let me just make sure there's no one else before I do it.
Yeah, I wonder who you're picking because I have mine locked and loaded.
My sit of the week's going to be David Montgomery.
Wow.
I hate to do it.
Wow.
And I hope honestly, I hope he proves me wrong. If you see, I feel like I need to pick someone else. I think David Montgomery isn't going to have the best week, but if I had David Montgomery, there's no way I'm sitting him. Right. You know what I mean? Let me see if I could pick someone else.
I wrote down Gibbs. I don't know if he's going to play, hopefully. Oh,
there it was. Yes, Tom. Yeah. My sit of the week for week 6 of fantasy football is Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, you are facing, and I thought about David Montgomery. Do not get me wrong, Chris, but I'm starting him in every league that I currently have him. Simply based off the fact that I know for damn sure when they get to that goal line, Montgomery will be getting those goal line touches. Yes, Jared Goff is terrible on the road, but I still think there's going to be opportunity for him to get in the end zone. But as for Jahmyr Gibbs, coming off an injury, he's playing against a good run defense. He could be involved in the passing game, but it just seems like he ain't going to get in the fucking end zone. And watch, because I said that, this will be the week that he gets in the end zone.
Make sure you bet Jahmyr Gibbs anytime.
Yeah.
But I'm benching Jahmyr Gibbs. If I have him in any league, I'm gonna keep Jahmyr Gibbs on the bench.
So my actual
running back situation right now in fantasy football.
Yeah. My actual sit of the week is gonna be Brian Robinson. Going against the Falcons, that run defense has been good. I think it's gonna be tough goings for Brian Robinson this week against the Falcons.
He fell off.
He did.
Yeah.
Many men.
Hopefully you traded him.
Yeah. All right. Is that everything?
It's everything.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Tom, thank you for hopping on with us. We do appreciate it.
Anytime.
You are the man. You are the man. Some great analysis today, and we do appreciate having you. Anyways, be sure to follow us on all of our socials as well. All those good things. Watch all the videos from the past. Watch the pods from the past. Watch all the clip outs from the past. Do all that stuff. And with that,
BallGame.
that was BallGame.